Ever stare at a pool heater spec sheet and wonder if you're just throwing money into a pipe that never warms up when you need it? You've probably felt that nagging doubt. What if I pick a unit that's too big, too small, or just plain finicky? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks talking to a handful of pool owners, reading forums, and watching a few installation videos so I can give you a straight-up take on the Jandy JXiQ400NK before you decide whether it belongs in your backyard. First off, this heater sits in the 400,000 BTU class, which basically means it's built for medium to large residential pools that see a lot of use in cooler climates. If you have a 12 to 18 foot pool and you like to swim year-round, that output is the sweet spot. It can lift water temperature by 10-15 F in a single pass without making the gas bill explode. On the flip side, if your pool is a modest 10-foot plunge or you only heat it a few weeks a summer, the unit can feel oversized. The extra capacity shows up as higher initial cost and a slightly larger footprint on the deck, and you might end up cycling the heater more than you need, which can wear the components faster. Installation is where the real-world story really matters. The JXiQ400NK ships with an integrated bypass, so you don't need a separate valve to keep water flowing while the heater is off. That's a genuine time saver for DIYers. I watched a homeowner hook the unit up in a single afternoon with just a few basic tools and a friend to help lift the unit onto the pad. The compact design fits snugly against a concrete wall, but you still need a clear 3-foot clearance on each side for service access, which is something a lot of sellers forget to mention in the product blurb. The copper heat exchanger is a plus because it resists corrosion better than the aluminum units you see on the cheap end, meaning less chance of a premature leak in a pool that's constantly exposed to chlorine and sun. Bluetooth connectivity and AquaLink compatibility are the smart features that get a lot of buzz. In practice, the app lets you see the current water temperature, set a target, and get alerts if the unit goes into a low NOx safety mode. For a tech-savvy homeowner who likes to check the pool temperature from the couch, that's handy. However, the Bluetooth range is limited to about 30 feet, so if your control panel lives on a gazebo a bit farther away you'll need a Wi-Fi bridge or just accept that you'll have to walk over to adjust settings. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a nuance that can feel like a hidden trade-off after the excitement of the smart label wears off. Now let's talk about the low NOx certification. This is more than a marketing badge, it means the burner runs cleaner, which translates to lower emissions and a slightly more efficient burn. If you live in a community with strict HOA environmental rules or you simply want to keep your carbon footprint in check, that's a real win. The downside is that low NOx burners sometimes have a slower ignition sequence, so you might notice a few extra seconds before hot water starts flowing after you hit on. In day-to-day use the latency is barely noticeable, but if you're on a tight schedule and need instant heat for a sudden swim, you'll have to factor in that short warm-up period. Who should buy this heater? First, anyone with a medium-size in-ground pool who swims regularly from early spring through fall will find the JXiQ400NK a solid match. The combination of a high-capacity copper exchanger, built-in bypass, and smart connectivity makes it a good fit for homeowners who want a set-and-forget system that still offers a little tech flair. It also works well for families that run a separate spa on the same loop. The unit's 400,000 BTU rating can comfortably keep both water bodies at a comfortable temperature without constantly cycling on and off. Who should skip it? If you have a tiny above-ground pool or you only heat the water for a weekend party once a year, you're likely overpaying for capacity you'll never use. Likewise, if you're on a very tight budget and can't stretch to the Jandy price point, a simpler 250,000 BTU model from a different brand will get the job done with less upfront cost. Finally, if you're not comfortable with a little DIY plumbing or don't have someone to help lift the unit onto a concrete pad, the installation process could become more of a headache than a weekend project. In terms of day-to-day operation, the heater is quiet enough that you won't hear it humming over the sound of kids playing or the garden sprinkler. The water heats consistently, and the temperature holds steady once you set the target on the app. The real-world downside shows up in the gas bill if you run the heater continuously at high output, while the low NOx design helps, a 400,000 BTU.